Spring came out swinging with a lot of new anime, as well as a bunch of sequels that keep me busy. I thought I was done binging so many new shows, but nah. I had a tough time cutting down on my list because I couldn't flat out drop series so easily. After watching 3 episodes of each, pretty much all of them had something that kept me going. So I'll go through them all and give a rating on how much I recommend them. There are also a few that were not as good, but we'll get there. And before we do, please consider supporting the channel with a like and hitting the subscribe button. Would really help me continue doing these videos. Anyways, let's get to it. Here's my take on the anime of spring 2022. Hey guys, poorly made floating head here. Gotta clear a few things before we start. This video took way longer to edit than I expected. Had some computer trouble and some real life stuff going on, but didn't want to end up with nothing for spring. My views for these anime pretty much have stayed the same for the most part, but apart from the rating system I have, I will also point out how many episodes I've watched. So the rating is updated, at least. If you want to know what I think of all these shows once the season ends, let me know in the comments. Might cook something up. Thanks for listening, and now back to it. Sequel-wise, I focused on the second season of Komi-san, which currently is on Netflix lag. And of course, Kaguya-sama's third season, which started strong. A1 provides great animation to the clever jokes and gags from this wonderful cast of characters, which will be exploring more of the side cast. And I'm so ready. Oh, and Shield Hero, I guess. I tolerated season 1 because of Naofumi's fight against society and how unfair he was treated, but ever since he was able to overcome that, plus the season's first 3 episodes, I've been sleeping. Also, the drop in quality doesn't really help, so it's a no from me. Getting the isekai out of the way, Skeleton Knight in Another World is about a guy who wakes up as Sans Undertale in his fantasy-style video game. He's basically a chivalrous knight taking small jobs and saving people. Apart from getting content warnings every episode because of the Goblin Slayer-esque beginning of the show, and some slave imagery, it's been fine. The guy is a typical overpowered geek, but is pretty noble and sometimes funny, and can fast travel like Knuckles in Sonic Boom. As isekais go, it's somewhat bland, but okay, give it a shot. Another isekai is about a guy dying to some stairs and reincarnating inside the dating sim he just 100%ed. He's not even a fan of the game, but his extensive knowledge of it lets him advance through the plot and survive, even though he's a random NPC in a girl-dominated world. He must then fight for the sake of a waifu who's being outcasted by another person who also got isekai'd into the game. It's weird to me how it's supposed to be a fantasy world with magic, but it's centered in a rich kid high school with giant robot duels. Overall, it's fine, but it's missing a good hook. Maybe the protag's defiant attitude to this world saves it, so I'll still watch for a few more episodes. The last isekai was a bit different. A random student gets transported to a fantasy world, but he's immediately cast aside by the wizards that isekai'd him, because of having null power. He's then saved by a beautiful priestess that wants to take him to her church. But once the guy figures out how to use his power of eliminating stuff out of thin air, Menno goes ahead and kills him off, revealing the twist of her being an executioner of anyone that comes from another world. It does seem obvious that she's being tricked to do this though, and a girl then comes in who can't be killed so easily, which will change that dynamic. The world itself and the magic use are surprisingly good, although it does get held back by some annoying characters, but might be worth it in the long run. We've also got a ton of slice of life anime that really felt comfy, for better or worse. Miss Hachiku and the Little Baby Ghost is a pure anime where an office worker is haunted by a cute little ghost girl that implores her to go home early since our protag is a Chachiku, or what I'd call relatable. It is kind of jarring how this is supposed to be heartwarming, while in the back of my mind I know this woman deserves a vacation and shouldn't even be there that late. But my work experience aside, it is super wholesome and cute, although it may be too cute at times, and rather slow. Okay if you need the extra sugar. Daemon is an anime centered on a Japanese sweet shop, a guy who returns home after 10 years to reconnect with his family, and a girl who was taken in after she was abandoned by her dad years ago. Pretty wholesome, sorta funny, and the nice visuals help this story of connections with a touch of music. Gives me a bit of March Comes In Like a Lion vibes. A bit slow at times, but I appreciate what it's done so far. Healer Girl is a show that follows 3 cute girls training to become professional healers through the power of music. Every episode has a part where they break into song, and while some parts did have me rolling my eyes when they sang about everything they were doing, it's still interesting when they explain how healing through music can go wrong if done incorrectly. But other than that, standard musical affair. And if you were wanting an idol anime, to become a real heroine might not appeal to you at first, with the concept of an out-of-town student having to secretly manage her two jerkish idol classmates to be able to live in the big city. But I swear, the main girl Hiyori made this a must-watch for me. I'm a fan of her optimism and her tenacity to support these whiny douches to be able to do what she loves. Of course, they'll probably end up getting along as the show goes on. I just really hope it doesn't end up being a romantic triangle. Would seem awkward to me, but the guys do seem to be getting better, although Hiyori is the real star. I am definitely watching. Changing the tone, Tomodachi Game is a crazy show focused on 5 friends put into a game where they risk being in massive debt to get back the money to a school trip that got stolen. It's a series of challenges where they need to test their friendship while putting on kakegurui faces and reactions. I'm a fan of these kinds of shows, and it comes right after the world couldn't stop making Among Us Squid Game memes, so the comparisons are there. Animation is serviceable and the game rules fly by the screen, but I'm pretty interested in their relationships and I want to see what the twist will be. Also, a wicked opening theme. It's some good mind game fun that can get a little weird, but I'm always waiting for the next episode. In rom-coms, we got Shikimori's Not Just a Cutie, where the twist is she's not just a cutie, I don't know. The series focuses on the couple of Shikimori and Izumi, where Izumi has been affected by Murphy's Law all his life, and Shikimori is his beautiful pink-haired knight in shining armor. The joke itself has been Izumi trying to appear more manly and capable as to wow her, but without even trying it, she protects him, very badass-like, and just captures his heart even more. It's definitely very cute, but unlike better rom-coms, I feel the supporting cast is lacking quite a bit, and this neutered down Bakugo isn't cutting it. And I feel the joke of Shikimori being the cooler one won't cut it to carry the whole show. Still, worth to see it to test it out. I also love the show's ending style. Love After World Domination, on the other hand, has been a funnier and wild ride. The idea of the Red Power Ranger falling in love with one of the evil commanders of this world, both being newcomers to the dating scene and having to learn how to love behind their team's back, is hilarious. The cast itself also helps a lot to carry the show's personality, and I appreciate Fudo's attempt to be a good boyfriend, even though he's a bit of an awkward guy whose life was only pumping iron, and how on the surface Desumi is this evil, sadistic tyrant, but it's just a lovable girl who just wants to have a normal life. And while Project Number 9 do show their history of focusing on the culture, this has been an improvement for them as a studio in my mind. Consider me a fan. We've also got a hero switching sides and I'm quitting heroing. The protag basically speedran defeating the evil in this kingdom, but is then betrayed and believed to be a menace by the people he helped save. So, he decides to go help rebuild the Demon King's army. He has to help the commanders with their workload in order to gain their trust, and get a shot at a position in the army. This is an interesting concept, and while the show itself is fine, the characters are a bit on the bland side, except for Lily the Fox Girl, who is just annoying. For now, doesn't promise a whole lot. And then we have Cloverworks' only solo project this season. In the Heart of Kunoichi Tsubaki is a bit of a mixed bag for me. It's about an all-girl ninja clan who are learning to fight but are prohibited to even think about men because they're dangerous. On the one hand, I like when the show focuses on the girls learning new skills and interacting with the different ninja groups they have, but some of the girls in the main group have their annoying side, and the focus on the men is a little awkward. But after episode 4, it did seem like we get more of an explanation, so I'm willing to see if it gets better. I also appreciate how the ending changes according to the ninja groups. Very nice. Before getting to my 6 favorite shows of the season, here are the few shows I thought were less good. RPG Real Estate is surprisingly not a show about a role-playing game, but is a fantasy anime about a new girl in town that will work in a real estate firm to find housing for mythical creatures. So, cute girls sell houses. Not a bad show, but in this jam-packed season, this one just lacks that punch to continue watching. Maybe I'm wrong and it gets better, but for now, it just doesn't make the cut. The Dawn of the Witch was more forgettable. A failing student is sent off on a training quest with a witch and some schoolmates and have to avoid a group of witch hunters. I think it's a spin-off of another show, but by itself, I really couldn't get into it. The one I truly hated was Don't Hurt Me, My Healer. It's about an adventurer who got screwed over into being paired with the most annoying and incompetent healer ever, who then curses him into being unable to separate from her, or he would die. What really took me out of it was the healer's attitude, making dumb jokes and not even apologizing for screwing up the spell. It's been a while since I immediately tuned off from a show because of just one character. Plus, the show itself seems cheap, and while there could have been potential, the healer just makes it unbearable to watch. I was also able to watch a couple of Cuckoos before I got the script ready, and I don't think I'm going to like it that much. A boy and girl get mixed up at birth, go with the wrong parents, and years later are now being pressured into marrying each other. Ignoring that this is already a dumpster fire waiting to happen, the characters are fine, but none of them are appealing to me. I was only able to watch the first 2 episodes, but I got annoyed by how the parents really want them together. They even give them a house, like, dude. And I may not be big on harem anime, but I've at least enjoyed the girls in other shows somewhat. I'll check out episode 3, but my expectations are low at this point. Now, with the stuff that I like the most, we have Aoashi, finally a very hype anime about football after a long while. Or maybe it's my bias since I also like to kick from time to time. I'm really enjoying the protagonist's journey from being the best striker in his school to trying to get into the best youth team in Japan and how much he's willing to sacrifice for that. The explanation of the game, the new players we get to meet and their stories, the planning and vision that must go into playing a certain position of the sport, and how your opponent plays help emulate the soccer experience really well. Plus, Production IG has done a wonderful job animating the games and training that have been shown. If we keep exploring the characters as well as they've done, while keeping the quality of animation, this will be a promising show to keep in mind. And I highly recommend it as a football fan. Another athletic anime is Dance Dance Danseur. I know it might get overlooked because it's a ballet anime, and us men can't watch girl stuff like that, no sir. But you'd be missing out on a visually stunning and endearing show. Junpei was captivated by a dancer's performance as a kid and was sure he'd become a ballet pro himself. Sadly, his dad passed away, and he took it upon himself to continue his legacy as a stunt coordinator, while doing soccer and martial arts, you know, to be a real man. But one day, his classmate Miyako notices his potential, shows him what he's missing, and takes him to her mom's studio. What follows is a back and forth of our protag's hesitation and desire of doing a 180 and pursuing his childhood dream, but knowing that doing so might get criticized by his friends. It is a typical Billy Elliot kind of deal, but Mappa's work here really elevates the story. The protag's inner struggle to decide, the world and people that surround him, and the prejudice that exists against ballet are all well explored. It's dramatic, it's quirky, it's gripping. A great showing so far. Episode 3's view on bullying and how our protag responds to it was a highlight. Super recommended. Next is Aharen-san wa Hakarenai, which feels like Komi, but Aharen-san differs in that she knows how to talk socially, but she has to use you as an ASMR microphone to let you hear her properly. Also, she's small and a bit socially awkward. She befriends Raido, a much taller guy who just wants to make friends. While bumpy at first, they make a great pair, where Raido's very active imagination and easy misunderstanding puts both of them in really crazy situations. The vibe is wholesome but funny. They can go from pondering the existence of fidget spinners to rapping, or just chilling as great friends. I'm wondering if we'll get more people in their group, apart from Reina's tall friend, but with just Aharen and Raido's friendship, this makes for a great watch. Now, currently on the new Disney Plus deal, we have Summertime Render, and if you're a fan of the suspense mystery genre like I am, you're in for a treat. Protag Shinpei returns to his home island to attend the funeral of her childhood friend Ushio, who reportedly drowned saving another kid's life in the ocean, but strange signs and murmurings point out this could have been a murder, or perhaps something even darker. The show has a tremendous suspenseful vibe, combined with great animation, a well-developed location with interesting characters, and the looming mystery that you won't see coming. I'd go in deeper, but suffice to say, this had a perfect first episode that got an audible gasp out of me, and hooked me straight away. Go watch episode 1, I'm sure you'll understand what I mean. And here's the hidden gem of spring, your boy Kongming with the catchiest opening song of the season. I never expected to vibe so hard with a show about a reincarnated Chinese war general coming into modern day Tokyo on Halloween. He stumbles into a bar where the rising star Aiko is singing on stage. Kongming is inspired by her musical talent, and after getting updated on the present times, he offers to be her manager slash master tactician to get her to the top of the music world. This show is a great mix of funny character interactions, superb musical performances, and even some melancholic moments that help set the mood, and makes you want to see this quirky team succeed and have Aiko be the huge star someday. It gives off a Carol and Tuesday kind of mood, but focus way more on the funny to its benefit. And again, the opening is such a bop. I'm glad it became a meme because it seems to have hooked a lot of people to the show, and that's a beautiful thing. And finally, the heavy hitter. Spy Family is a chaotic, fun, charming, hilarious, goofy, wholesome story of a dysfunctional family formed by Lloyd the super spy, Yor the assassin, and Anya the mind reader, or the newest cure to every disease since Boji. This happens because Lloyd is working to avoid an international war, and the only way to get into the deep web of these evildoers is to have a family and enroll their kid into a prestigious school, where the big baddie is known to go from time to time. This show has a great mix of action and comedy, which is showcased flawlessly by the team of Wit and Clover Cloverworks, giving us great fights with amazing animation, while also letting the characters emote perfectly given the right circumstance. Lloyd and Yor having to hide their real occupations from each other and the world is funny enough, but Anya being able to read their real intentions and seeing her reactions is the key to why this show works so perfectly. And not to mention the great opening, with its catchy song and visuals, and probably the best ending sequence in a long while, combining a relaxing beat with equally great animation and a wholesome vibe. It's easy to see how this became so popular so quickly. Match made in heaven with a great animation team and a wonderful idea. I'm excited to see where the show goes. Can't recommend this enough, but come on, you're probably already watching. And that's the anime I'm watching this spring. Hope this helps you find any show you might have missed since this season is insanely loaded. Sorry this took longer than I thought, but I'm glad I could talk about these shows I'm enjoying. If I somehow missed something, or you think I might be wrong about an opinion here, please let me know in the comments. I'll happily discuss and or geek out some more. Now, gotta go back and watch all of this anime, plus some more stuff coming along. And I'm trying to finally watch Cuckoos, so yeah. But that aside, it's been Jules, hoping you have a great day, and I hope to see you all next time.